Test, test. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the May the 15th regular meeting for the Monticello School District. I want to welcome everybody here. We have a full house tonight. We're still setting up some chairs for those that are arriving, so we'll go ahead and move on. We'd like to invite everyone that's here to join us. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. So we're going to move into item number 3, which is approval of our tentative agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved by Melissa Curtis, seconded by Casey Root. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. Moving into citizens' comments, we have no citizens' comments this evening. Moving into number 5, we're going to welcome our student representative, Samantha Richardson, to the microphone. And is this your last meeting with us? Oh, very sad. She brought along a big fan club, it looks like. So welcome, Samantha, and we'll be listening with bated breath for your last report.
Yes, well, hi, everybody. My name is Samantha Richardson. I usually have another person with me. His name is Brady, but he's not here today. He's at a golf meet, so I'm going to do just a little quick update and then talk about stuff for the seniors that are coming up. So the first thing is on April 29th, there was prom, which was held at River City Extreme. There was dancing, bowling, and then laser tag as well. The theme for prom this year was Enchanted. So there's Grand March, which you can walk through and parents can take pictures of you. And so the whole thing was decorated with flowers and like pretty lights. And so that was really fun. And then we only have 9 days left for us seniors, which is very sad. And then 12 and a half days for everybody else. So hopefully we'll be missed in the building, as I'm a senior. And then last week we had AP testing, which if you don't know what AP classes are, it's an advanced placement class, and basically you have to take a test. You can get a score between 0 and 5, and then usually that counts for college credit if you score well on it. And then, as I said, time is flying by. I cannot believe that we have 9 days left of school. It is crazy. And with that, sports and schoolwork is going on. There's definitely a lot of drive in the school building right now. A lot of kids just trying to get through the end of the school year. So in a way to kind of lighten the mood, Student Council put on a fun student body talent show recently. So we had a lot of people within our student body that participated in that, and you got to sign up during Flex, which Flex is a time where you can get help from teachers or attend talent shows. So that was a lot of fun. And then moving on to seniors, some important dates for us. Senior Awards Night is this Wednesday on the 17th. There's about 90 kids who receive scholarships on that night. And then Senior Sunset is this Friday. What happens on Senior Sunset is there's a movie, and then you get to watch the sunset with all of your peers. So that's super exciting. And then there is the baccalaureate ceremony on the 29th, and that is in support with all of the ministries around Monticello. It's a time to just kind of congratulate all the graduates and a time of worship during that time. And then June 2nd, there's graduation rehearsal, and then the commencement address, which I will probably cry a lot because it's exciting. And then the following day on Saturday is June 3rd, which will be the all-night graduation party. So we'll all be together. I think you get to leave at 3 here at the middle school, actually, and we just get to hang out with all of our peers for the last night before we head our own ways. So yeah, that is my little update for you guys today. Questions?
I just want to say another personal thank you to you and Brady for being our student representatives this year. They've done a wonderful job keeping us up to date on everything going on in the buildings with the student council and everything, and have been just a very mature and wonderful presence to have here at the board table with us. And I want to thank you personally for all of the time and effort you put in. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your commitment and consistency. We always knew we could count on you to be here and give an awesome report, so thank you.
The communication that we were able to see and hear from you was so clear, timely, and through multiple perspectives. So thank you so much for really diving into your job and representing your students so well. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to move on to item number 6, which is our fiscal stability. This is our consent agenda portion. And for those of you that don't join us for all of our meetings, a consent agenda is this area that we have received all of this information ahead of time, been able to review in detail all of the personnel matters, the bills, the Amazon cards, et cetera. And in addition to that, the approval of our minutes from May the 1st. So we aren't going to go through each of those individually. We address them as a group of items on our agenda. And so do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Melissa Curtis,
Seconded.
second by Jamie Sieben. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. Are there any abstentions?
I will abstain from that vote.
So we are going to pass it with 5, 0, and 1 abstention. Moving on to our collaborative connections. This is another wonderful section of our agenda where we get to celebrate those who donate their time and materials and money to our students. And I'll turn that over to Superintendent Olson.
Right. Obviously, anytime you get a donation, it's exciting, and as you can see, this is quite here today. I'm going to start with the American Legion, and before I get into the bulk of those donations that are coming to the fishing team, I'm going to recognize the American Legion Post 260 for also donating a flag recently, and they do a great job of keeping all of our schools donned with our American flag, United States American flag. So, and now I'm going to list off the donors and the purpose, and starting with the fishing team and a whole bunch of them. So American Legion Post 260, these are all $500 or more. Ultra Machining Company, UMC, fishing team. Production Stamping to the fishing team. Copperhead Industries to the fishing team. Polaris Monticello to the fishing team. Waterfront Side Grill. All Elements Roofing. Dahlheimer Beverage. Monticello Auto Service, Fiend Companies, and those were all, like I said, all going to the Monticello fishing team. And now we have Resource Training Solution, a grant to fund 2 courses toward instructor CTE certification, so Career Technical Education certification. And this Resource Training Solution is our education co-op that we use for both certified and non-certified to help with some of the training that we're able to provide our staff members. And then Hoagland Transportation is a $500 sponsor to our 2023 Resiliency Conference in August that is going to be put on by our district and instructors and administration all over the state of Minnesota. So we also have some donors coming forth to sponsor that great conference.
And we have a resolution.
Therefore, it be resolved by the Monticello School Board Number 82 to gratefully accept the following donations. American Legion Post 260, Ultra Machining Company, UMC, Production Stamping, Copperhead Industries, Polaris Monticello, the Waterfront Lakeside Grill, All Elements Roofing, Dahlheimer Beverage, Monticello Auto Service, and Fiend Companies, all donations to the Monticello fishing team. And the Resource Training Solutions, a grant for $3,320, and Hoagland Transportation with a donation of $500.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jamie Sieben. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. Moving on to one of our favorite parts of the year, Monticello High School student recognition, and we have MHS principals Matt Colwell and Lori Hansen here for a lot of wonderful celebration of our students. And looking out in the audience, it's just wonderful to see so many kids and parents here. So thank you for showing up tonight.
We also have Mr. Revnig, our activities director. We've got 6 groups of students to recognize, and man, I just love looking, and we never see this many young people. We really appreciate you being here. We get to celebrate, we call our students, but Parents, we're not trying to steal your thunder. They're your people, your kids. You've trained them, you've raised them, and we can't thank you enough. When the high school is busy and energetic, sometimes things going a little bit sideways. It's students like yours that help regulate the building. They're consistent, they're calm, they provide leadership, and it is so appreciated. So thank you for what you're doing in raising quality humans. Thank you for sending them to Monticello High School. We call them ours, but they're really yours. And we appreciate that partnership. So they're leaders. We have 6 different kind of groups that we'll walk through and recognize each group together. And Mr. Rebnick will start with some students out of the activities department.
All right, well, thanks for being here. What an impressive group here tonight. So the Minnesota State High School has 2 awards that they give out each year that every school can nominate students for. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Excel Award, and that goes to juniors. Each school can nominate 1 female and 1 male. So to be eligible, you must be a junior in high school. You must make satisfactory progress toward graduation requirements. You need to participate in league-sponsored fine arts or sports, and you need to hold leadership positions in school. And for this one, you need to volunteer. So our 22-23 female Excel Award winner representing Monticello High School is Gabrielle Cruz Longley. She has a Gabrielle, come on up. Gabrielle has a 4.0 GPA. She participates in cross-country, track, unified, interact, open conversations, band, and student council. And our male winner this year is Paul Fazen. Paul, come on up. Paul Fazen has a 4.0 GPA. He participates in 3 sports, cross-country, swimming, and track. He's in band, choir, unified, interact, student council, math league, peer tutoring, chess club, and musical. He's helped in musical. So he has totaled almost 1,000 hours of volunteering since he's been in high school. He was a finalist for the Minnesota State High School League Excel Award this year. He was recognized at the state basketball tournament. They recently reached out to me and said Paul was one of 3 students they're considering to create a video next year for the Minnesota State High School League. So pretty cool. Congratulations, Gabrielle and Paul. All right. Picture? Okay. All right, the other one is the, excuse me, the AAA award. It stands for Academics, Arts, and Activities. And to be eligible for that, you need to be a senior in high school. Again, each school can nominate 1 male and 1 female. You need to have a high GPA and need to participate in league-sponsored fine arts and activities. Our female award winner is Gracie Rubinick. Is Gracie here? Okay, well, Gracie has a 3.97 GPA. She participated in volleyball, basketball, track and field. She's been a state participant in volleyball 2-time and in track and field last year. We're hoping she gets back again this year. And she participates in choir, and she did 1 year in band in high school. And in the Region 8 AA competition out of the 16 schools, Gracie was one of the finalists for that award. And our male winner is Mason Bauer. I know Mason's here. Come on up, Mason. Mason has a 3.97 GPA. He's participated in football, wrestling, and lacrosse. He's in band. And Mason was the Region 8 AA runner-up. Again, out of 16 schools, he came in second overall. Just an impressive young man at Monticello High School, as are all of our award winners tonight. So, thank you.
We have a recognition called the Student of Excellence that recognizes 4 outstanding seniors. If I could have Ellie Erickson, Thor Lemke, Haley Prater, and Rocco Vasoli come on up. These 4 seniors are exceptional students. They have outstanding GPAs, and collectively, as I was looking at their schedules over the last 4 years, they've taken college-level econ, Spanish, writing, lit, psych, math, above and beyond high school, stats, physics, engineering, calc, and chem, to name a few. They are involved in multiple sports, activities, musicals, student council, and the fine arts. They are amazing and well-rounded individuals who influence our building, as Matt had talked about. When we start to go a little sideways, these are the people that level us out. These are the people that provide grounding for us. They have a sense of community, and they are leaving our building a better place than they started as a result of their participation here. Their character and their integrity are exceptional. They are great role models for what we strive to create in our hallways. If I could congratulate Thor, Haley, Ellie, and Rocco. Rocco is not here. Help me congratulate them, please.
Each year, Monticello American Legion Post 260 helps us recognize and kind of asks us for nominations to participate in what we call Boys and Girls State. And what that is we find 2 students who are exceptionally interested in government, in citizenship, have shown some interest in the social studies classes and done very well as leaders, and are looking to pursue continued education maybe in that realm. And so this year's Boys and Girls State have to be, they're juniors, and they have to commit to going to a week-long experience. The female is going to Bethel University, and the male is going to St. John's for a week in June to literally experience what it's like to be in government. And that starts at like the county level. They do state level things. They actually propose bills. They do some debating. And it's a fully kind of immersed experience down at the state capitol for part of it, where they're going to be involved in government. And the American Legion sponsors it. They pay for all of it, so we appreciate the relationship we have with them. And we look for nominations out of the Social Studies Department. So we have 1 male, 1 female. They are McKinnon Miller and Sophie Rosh. If you guys could come up here, please. So each one of these students, like I said, are strong academically. They've shown leadership skills in the high school. They are going to be going to a week-long experience, and then next year, part of their duties include preparing and planning our Veterans Day assembly, which we have each November. And then they have a dinner with American Legion and come back with a report to us as to how their week went. So we look forward to that experience for you this June and look forward to your report back. So step over here for a picture.
We currently have 26 juniors who are on track to be honor guard students. And what that means is to this point in their high school career, they have maintained a 4.0 GPA. If I could have these 26 students just stand as I call your name, and then at the end, I think what we'll do is line up right in front of here to take a picture. So if I could have Allison Belke, Michaela Burmis, Dallas Christensen, Gabriella Cruz-Longley, Keegan Ellis, Christopher Falk, Paul Fazen, Rylan Fearbin, Sydney Fuller, Jack Geislinger, Aaron Gilbertson, Adrian Hansen, Dylan Castor, McKenna Lutz, Lauren Morehouse, Ava Nebben, Natalie Nemeth, Evan Rasky, Dinah Schaefer, Gina Schaefer, Braden Schmidt, Gunnar Simon, Amelia Skistad, Nick Thovson, Bella Vasoli, and Reagan Wanshafi. These are 26 juniors who have maintained a 4.0, and again, looking at their collective schedules, it's college-level courses and an academically rigorous workload that they're carrying. But very similar to our students of excellence, they're well-rounded individuals. They're involved, as we look at them collectively, they're involved in multiple sports, multiple activities, multiple fine arts, and student council, leadership groups, and every opportunity that they can find to create positive influence in our building. These 26 students have been invited to help with our graduation ceremony on the last day of school, and so they will be part of that group that helps lead commencement for us. They're exceptional students. As Matt had said earlier, they provide tremendous leadership that I don't even think they realize that they carry and the influence that they project in our building. We're grateful for what they bring to us and the continued leadership, and we're excited to see what next year brings for them as they think about their year leading the building. 26 honor guard students. If I could have you come up and we'll take a picture right in front here.
Jump in, Lori. And we have one more group. Work through. Our valedictorians. And I know Mr. Revnig has scheduled just a whole bunch of activities and events throughout the week, and some of them happen to be tonight. So I know some of our junior honor guard, I saw one at a softball game. I know one was at baseball, and they're just pulled in many directions. But if I could have our valedictorians here, 12 of you, so let's have you come up here. Sydney Brandt, Eleanor Cummings, Ellie Erickson, Atira Gross, Sophia Hazy, Thor Lemke, Evelyn Morehouse, Elizabeth Siegler, Mason Smith, Rocco Vasoli, Mackenzie Whipper, and Brooke Ilitalo. This is our class of 2023 valedictorians. So we're missing 4 of them, but as you can imagine, they've just done an outstanding job the last 4 years. Navigating extremely difficult classes, many of them all same semester. I began writing down, you guys, the classes you've taken. You've covered all the CIS classes. You've covered, obviously, all the difficult, the AP classes, that big tests this time of year. We know that's going on, finals coming. Beyond the academics, though, like we've alluded to, they just have provided really solid leadership, exceptional leadership. They influence the underclassmen more than you would realize. Oftentimes we're having conversation with underclassmen about behaviors and things that come up, and we sometimes just point at some of the upperclassmen, some of the leaders in the building, and as to how to behave. Look at the models in front of you that are doing this well. Sometimes a message. They're very involved in student council, unified, PSEO, youth service. I mean, they're spread far and wide throughout the district, leaving a big impact and big shoes to fill. So junior honor guard, here's the people that kind of follow in their shoes. They've done a very nice job, and we're very proud of you. 4.0s across the board, but that's just part of the story. You guys are great people, and we appreciate all you've done to the high school.
I'm gonna transition. You can go.
I think we'll just take a minute and let those that are departing the room depart. Oh, I thought we were going to depart after the student council. so. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more student presentation this evening. This is item number 8 on our, oh, not item number 8C, the Monticello High School Student Council presentation. And Gary Revenig will be presenting that.
Yeah, I'd just like to call up our student council members that are here. And I want to first recognize our advisor. Ms. Brooke Zawicki was named the District Advisor of the Year. Let's give her a round of applause. All right, and then students that are here, come on up. Our Monticello High School Student Council has been very involved lately, and I'm going to turn it over to Sam. Sam was our president this year, so go ahead. Or Thor? Thor was the president, my
I
bad.
was of Eastern Division.
And Sam was Eastern Division, my bad. All right.
That's okay.
Go ahead, Thor. You gonna take it over?
Yep, you guys can tag team it.
Yeah, it's been a very, very eventful year. We've tried to keep all of our activities in the past, plus we have been adding new and exciting activities as often as possible for student council this year. So we have a very exciting presentation for you today. Next slide, Gavin.
All right. So this summer, we had a Leadership Academy little conference, and I was able to go. I think only me and Thor were there, and we did a lot of our planning for the school year. We went over things like homecoming, because that was a very big event. It happens very quickly for the school year. And then we went over other important things like some activities we have within the school. Like, for example, we have our, what is it? What did we just have? Yeah, talent show. That's the word I'm looking for. Talent show. We just had that going on. I even just talked about it too. And then we also try to invite as many kids as we could to come and join student council with our open house booth. And a lot of us recruited a lot of people to join from sports and other things. And it's been a fun year so far. And I appreciate everybody that has joined us for student council. What do you want me to talk about? Okay, I'll go. I was in charge of homecoming this year. I was the chair for that. It was a lot of fun. We got to all of us sit down and decide what we wanted our theme, which was kind of bringing it home. And we planned events throughout the week, which I had talked to you guys my very first board meeting, I think. We went over homecoming, a lot of fun events within that. And then we had a foreign exchange student night, which I believe that was the first one we've ever had. I wasn't actually there, but I saw a lot of fun that was happening with pizza, cookies, get to know you games, and other things. So we got to celebrate our students from other countries. Oh, and then there is some of us within those pictures. That is our homecoming court. We got to have all the candidates dress up for a pet fest. And then, so as I said, we had senior sunset on Friday. We had senior sunrise at the beginning of the school, so kind of fun to get together and watch a video on that. Court again. The king and queen. The queen is right behind me, Miss Kaylee Stegora. And then our king was Noah Mahoney. Yeah. Oh, there's another picture for the volleyball tournament as well. That was throughout the week. We had that on Tuesday and Thursday, so that was a lot of fun, homecoming week.
All right, I'm Ellie Erickson, and then we moved into the month of October. October, we have a couple of different things. Every year we have our Halloween costume contest. Throughout the day of Halloween, we have a bunch of different themes and whatnot, and we have different students dress up and then send out a costume contest for all of the students to vote on. And here's one of our winners. I think this was for funniest, but I can't even. This is the only picture I could. So there's one. And then moving on, we also do our Mills Fleet trick or treat. It started during COVID, but essentially what we do, we go and we bring a car and we, as a student council, hand out candy to kids. It's really fun. It's a really fun event for all the student council members. It's one of the first outside of school events that we do, and so it always gets a lot of people involved, and it's always really fun to dress up and hand out candy.
So November is one of our favorite months as a student council simply because we get to go to a resort, which is like a leadership academy at Cregan's, which is up north. And there's a picture of us with the, Paul Bunyan, I think his name is. Paul Bunyan. And it was such a fun time. It's sort of when we connect with so many other student councils from around the state and we're able to talk about our big ideas and improve our own student council. And along with that, we're able to have a dance, which we think is the best dance of the year, is at Cregan's. And of course, we are able to connect with all types of people around the state, which is our favorite. And then we also had a food drive, which I was able to chair. And the food drive this year was very successful, and we almost got, I think, 300 pounds of food donated to the Monticello Help Center. So November was a great success.
And then in February, we had the very exciting times of Snow Week. So every day of Snow Week featured a new dress up. This year was actually only a 4-day week. We had that Friday off. But Monday we had Pajama Day. Tuesday was Date Night Best. Wednesday, Snowboarders versus Surfer Day. And Thursday was Spirit Day. Also during the week, we had activities such as a medallion hunt, where there was a clue released every day, and then there was a 3D printed snowflake. This year was actually hidden in the newspaper bin in the history pod. And I believe Austin Imholt was the one who figured that out this year. And then we also played bingo during homeroom for candy prizes. Oh. Also during the week was Valentine's Day. And that was Tuesday, Date Night Best. And so a few weeks before Valentine's Day, we actually pre-sold bundt cakes from Nothing Bundt Cake for a fundraiser that we called Cakes for a Cause. And we sold the bundtlets for $6 a piece, and then all proceeds went to an MHS student to help with their cancer treatment. And then on Valentine's Day, we also sold candy and pop for $1 a piece to the student body.
All right, so in March we had the Survivor Week, which was chaired by me. First EMASC. I got really excited, guys. So first we went to EMASC. I didn't actually participate in this, but we did host EMASC. So while everyone else was at school, we were here hosting. People from all of Eastern Minnesota Division came around to discuss about different problems in the schools and our solutions to them. Yeah. All right. The Survivor Week. So we had a whole bunch of different challengers from every grade come together. We tried to broadcast it as much as possible and compete in challenges. The best person who competed at the challenges was survived onto the next round and so forth. Izzy McMur in the bottom left was the final winner. And these are the final 4 up top. A whole bunch of goofy challenges. We really tried to get the school behind it. I think that's all, yeah.
And then wrapping up for the end of the year, we do have a few more activities. So in the month of April, we had our talent show, as you've heard a lot about. And so here are select few pictures from the talent show. And then MASC, so the Minnesota Association of Student Councils had the state convention this, it was the weekend of prom, and so we actually had, I think it was Paul and was it Olivia? Oh, Michaela. Paul and Michaela attended Sunday for the state convention, and on Sunday, Ellie was awarded Officer of the Year for the state of Minnesota. Miss Sawicki was Advisor of the Year, and then Monticello, as a student council whole, was awarded with the Outstanding Student Council of the Year award. And then also a wrap-up, Appreciation Months. Lexi Colton-Butel was our chairperson for our appreciation this year, and we went from the custodial staff, bus drivers, paraprofessionals, office staff, kitchen staff, teachers, and every month there was a new group that we were trying to recognize within our school and show our appreciation for all that they do. And in this coming week, I believe it's been talked about a few times, this Friday is actually our senior sunset, where we'll be hosting a movie in our stadium, putting a video or a movie on the big screen. We will also have our end of year party next week, the last week for seniors. And teacher appreciation was last week, where we did ice cream sundaes for all the staff in our building. And finally,
Yeah, so, and then finally, the new people were elected for the new positions. I'm going to be the president,
Vice President.
and we have Willa and Olivia, both being student representatives and secretary. We hope for a good year next year.
Yes, and we're very excited to be able to represent Student Council and hopefully be here again next year, having an amazing report just like this year.
If you want to just wait for a second, I think we're going to get a picture. Never enough pictures when you're at the end of the school year.
Oh, yeah, we do need to wait.
That was an amazing accomplishment to get those awards for our student council, and I'm really proud of that, and I'm sure everybody else is too. No worries.
I'm going to move back.
We'll take just a moment, and anybody that would like to depart the meeting at this point is welcome to. We understand you have a lot of other things to do.
Either let's go back here. Right. No, it's okay.
So moving along in our meeting, we're moving along to some stuff that's not quite as much clapping involved maybe, but.
Or picture taking.
Or picture taking, but it's still very important information, and I appreciate everybody that stayed behind to hear these important presentations by our Director of Curriculum and Instruction and our Director of.
District Literacy Specialist.
Yeah,
Lindsay Retman.
it's wonderful. Thank you, Cindy. And so Cindy, I'll turn it over to you for your wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thanks. So yeah, we're going to recap the presentation that we did, was it only a week ago or was it 2 weeks ago? Anyway, when the board was kind enough to approve our curriculum adoption. So moving forward. So we started with our curriculum review team, and I just wanted to quickly explain the difference between the two committees. So we had the literacy leadership team, which was made up of myself and Lindsay, and then the principals, the elementary principals, and then the elementary reading specialists. And so they were part of the literacy leadership team where we kind of did a lot of the background work, a lot of the grunt work, if you want to say. And then we also were the decision-making kind of final team that made decisions on that. And then we involved a large committee of teachers, 2 from every grade level, all the way across all elementary schools, and then including several GT, special education, English language learner teachers. And so that made up our larger review committee. This process took us at least 2 years to go through. So last year, when we started the process, we had probably a dozen different curriculum resources that we were looking at. We went through a lot of training, a lot of learning, tried to become experts in the area of the science of reading, and really learned what we were looking for in curriculum. And so we did eliminate several resources because they didn't really follow what we were looking for. And we ended up narrowing our choices down to the top 3 that we thought we would look at. So Benchmark Advanced, Amplify CKLA, and Wit and Wisdom. And then also the ones on the bottom are foundational skills curriculum. Those are curriculum that looks at phonics, fluency, phonemic awareness, help me out.
Foundational skills.
All the foundational skills that go into that. So those are the ones across the bottom. All right.
Like Cindy said, this was a 2-year process, and you can just scroll down a little bit just to kind of give us a sense of the timeline, the number of times that the group was meeting, either as a curriculum review team or as literacy leadership, and the conversations with publisher reps that were there, as well as we had some consultation with from MDE in this process. And like as you can see, it was extensive, the amount of time that we've put into this. Next slide. When it came down to it, there were 3 choices that we were looking at the end. Benchmark Advance, which was a comprehensive curriculum. Amplify CKLA, which is a curriculum that is comprehensive, but it is in 2 parts, especially for kindergarten through 2nd grade. It exists as a language arts, like a language comprehension, and a foundational skills curriculum, and Wit and Wisdom. And both of those we were looking at, we were opting to pair with functional phonics, and functional phonics is a curriculum which was developed with the University of Minnesota's CARE, the Curriculum Center for Academic Research and Educational Improvement. And we took a look at these 3 using a tool that was developed through MDE and CARE, a partnership that took a lot of other evaluation tools that are out there and combined it to give us a very comprehensive overview of what the curriculum resources had to offer, as well as what were things that we would need to be looking at improving as teachers, as educators. If we can go to the Amplify one, any of those, just to get a look at the tool. If you go to like grade 1, if you click on the tab at the bottom, grade 1.
This one's Benchmark. Can you go to the next one, Gabby? The one that says, there you go.
Sure. And this is the combination of the curriculum resource that we opted for. It's a combination of Amplify CKLA for our language comprehension and the reading and comprehension and writing composition, as well as functional phonics for our foundational skills. And there were many criteria for each of those overarching areas, as phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, comprehension, writing, usability assessment, and cultural responsiveness. And so we were going through all of those looking for what meets and what partially meets and what does not meet. And the tool is meant to be helping schools sort through this and not be dependent solely on publishers selling us a product. And so it's a way for us to be able to look for ourselves and see what this offers us. It's also a tool that we can be using to help us as we go forward and to know where does this partially meet and what does that mean for us, or where does this not meet and what does that mean for the work that we'll be putting into this. So this is a tool that we will continue to be using through implementation.
Gavin, if you could scroll down a little bit until you get to one that said, there you go, one that said yellow. There you go. So whenever it said partially, we always took a note on the side that said what we will do in order to make that a meet, in order for it to fulfill it. So in this case, we would acquire, what did we say? We recognize that it was taught early in the curriculum, so it only partially met, and so we need to patch that little gap that's there. So as we start to implement the curriculum, we'll take a look at all of our notes and see where it was only a partially meet or does not meet, and then we will work to integrate those things into our curriculum.
Okay, back to the slides, please. Towards the end, we were looking at after we went through that curriculum evaluation tool that was developed through MDE and CARE, we came down to two choices. One was combining Amplify CKLA with functional phonics or Wit and Wisdom with functional phonics. And we had a lot of really good discussion over these two options and received quotes for what the cost would be and what they offer, and also getting a sense of the support and what's available through the publishers themselves in terms of the professional development for us and the continual support in making that curriculum fit our district. We chose Amplify CKLA and functional phonics to go forward with, and we're beginning the implementation process now. The curriculum evaluation or curriculum review teams, our last meeting was in May, and they are continuing to do some work right now looking through the curriculum units. A lot of the curriculum that's out there is really overbuilt, so there are more minutes in a lesson that we can fit into a day. There are often more lessons or more units in a year than we can fit in. And so we're looking right now at what is most in alignment with our standards and what is less in alignment with standards. It's going to be something that we can put to the side and considering how that all fits together.
And then this is a rundown of the costs of the curriculum resources that are coming to us. So the functional phonics foundational skills curriculum over the next 3 years will be a total of $14,700. And I will say that the organization that is putting this together, the goal of CARE is to provide resources for schools that are very inexpensive in order to get students to be able to read. Their goal is not to make money. As you can see, they're hardly charging anything at all for the next 3 years. It's even under $5,000 a year to be able to use this curriculum. And the teachers that have been using this foundational curriculum will say that it's very strong, and that it's working for students. And so we're excited to try that for the next 3 years. We really will reevaluate to see if this is where we want to stay. But for now, we're going to try it for the next 3 years. And then the Amplify CKLA, that's a 7-year commitment that we are making. We do that so we can bundle things so that the price is more affordable. And so that cost for the next 3 years, $361,000. I will say that's about half the price of what Wit and Wisdom would have cost us. That is not why we chose this necessarily, but it is about half the price. So it's kind of a win-win for us, I think. And then we'll have some printing costs, and then we're going to purchase some additional decodable readers, they're called, for our classrooms, so that teachers have additional resources in their rooms that meet the science of reading and all the training that we have done, so that they can be available for students during variety of times throughout the day. So we'll need that. And then we'll also purchase some manipulatives for every classroom that are, again, aligned with the science of reading and what the teachers need to be doing for instruction in the classroom. So together it'll be $441,477. We're planning to split that over 2 years unless if the READ Act comes through and we end up being able to pay for it all at once. That would be outstanding. But we'll see how that goes. And then we have support planned for teachers all the way throughout the next several years. So we will continue our partnership with CARE as far as training and consulting. We'll continue letters training. Again, hopefully the READ Act passes, and then we'll get money for extended letters training throughout our district. And we'll have ongoing professional development throughout this year, next year, on how to implement our curriculum, both resources to the best of our ability. There are new structures in place, so we have new schedules put up with extended ELA times in minutes. We have flexible grouping for our foundational skills where students will be meeting with teachers and getting exactly what they need at their level during the foundational skills time. And then during the comprehension block, students will all be at grade level and receive grade level curriculum. So they're going to get what they need in both areas. So we're excited about that. And then we have a lot of positions in place with literacy Lindsay being number one with our district literacy specialists. And then we hired 2 reading coaches who will be working with Little Mountain and Pinewood. And then Lindsay will be working with Rose Johnson at Eastview to really work on guiding the curriculum implementation, unpacking that curriculum and the standards alignment and all of that. So we're excited for what's to come. I look for next year to be our best year ever with all the new resources that we have coming. Any questions?
Cindy, I have a question quick. So the READ Act that's going to the House and Senate floor soon, they're estimating $35 million for professional development and $34 million for curriculum acquisition. Do you know roughly how much that would impact, like what we've said, would it pay for everything that we already have planned?
I haven't seen the numbers that they're dedicating towards districts themselves. I imagine it's going to be a per pupil, probably budget, but my guess is that it probably will.
Okay.
For most of the curriculum that we already have planned, because they're saying you can backdate, I think, up to 2021, all the way back.
Confident curriculum that we've selected.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
All of-
yeah.
That's what, yeah, it
Does
says
need to
that
be
it's
on the approved
science-based,
list.
which New York,
Yeah, and so, yeah, I'm very confident that that will be one of the curriculum choices that will be on the approved list that MDE puts forward. Yeah, so we're excited about the choices we've made, and I really think that we're going to have a lot of people involved in training next year that MDE is going to help us fund, so be a win-win for us too.
be huge.
Anyone else have any questions? We've heard this the second time, so
Second time.
we
Sorry
asked
if
a
I
lot of
bored
our
all of
questions
you
the
who were
first
here
time
before.
around. So thank you very much, Cindy and Lindsay, for this excellent presentation on the new curriculum. And moving into item B, we're going to ask Cindy to remain at the podium for the ISTE conference and travel request to the board, and she has a presentation for us explaining what this process is. Oh, and Jason Borgstrom as well. Thank you.
I'm going to make
Director of-
Jason join me because he's going to be my partner in crime here. So Jason and I would like to have your stamp of approval on bringing a large group. I know it's a large group, but we'd like to bring this large group, at least this one time, to ISTE Live 2023, and it's being held in Philadelphia. And it is a 4-day conference, and actually it's really a 5-day conference, but we're going to go for 4 days. We'd like to anyway. And so, next slide. We would like to take a leadership team from the district, so that's Jason and myself, and then Allison Colwell, instructional specialist, or a district instructional coach, Natalie Geyer, who is our K through 5 tech integrationist, and then Carrie Green, who's going to be our district media specialist and instructional coach. And then also, we would like to take representatives from every building. So each building this year, Jason has started a tech team at every building where there will be leaders from each building who will get together and help make decisions for their technology use and integration in each building. So it's a brand-new team that we're putting together in each building. And so we have representatives from each team, or if a representative from that team couldn't come, then we have a teacher representative from that building. So we have a kindergarten teacher, Mackenzie Muehlners. We have Nikki Gullickson, who's going to be a representative from grade 1 at Pinewood. Liz Barnes, grade 3 at Little Mountain. Jared Hines and Jake Laudenbach both are coming from the middle school, and Mr. Scherber graciously agreed to fund one of those because we're bringing 2 from the middle school. And then Alyssa Ambrosius from the high school will attend, from the high school tech team. Next slide. So what exactly is ISTE? ISTE is this International Society for Technology and Education. It is the worldwide tech group, if you will. And that is where it is the people from not just around the United States, but all around the country get together and they work to transform technology in education. And so they really focus on standards. And so I'd really, Gavin, if you could click on the word ISTE, that is a link, and take us to the ISTE website really quick. Sorry, I should have forewarned you for that one. I just really wanted you to take a peek at the standards. So if you click on standards up at the top, Gavin, and then just open up the students maybe. So ISTE has developed standards for students, teachers, administrators, and instructional and reading coaches. And they have really outlined exactly what they feel is best practice in the world of education and technology integrating together. So if we can go down and we could have our students become all of these, and each one of them you can dig into more, and I'm not going to ask you to do that, so don't do that, Gavin, but you could dig in even more and see exactly what every standard is. But our goal would be to adopt the ISTE standards for our students, teachers, administrators, and coaches, and really embed those in our learning. So it really marries education and technology together, ISTE does. So you can go back to the slideshow. ISTE offers very high-quality professional development in many different ways. So the way that we would like to do it is we'd like to attend in person, at least this first time, as a large group. We have not, in Monticello, taken teachers to a technology conference in at least the past 6 years. I don't know for sure exactly what the date was, but I know for sure that I went about 6 years ago with a small group of people to what's called the TIES Conference. And so TIES has been dissolved. We no longer have the TIES Conference anymore in Minnesota. There are no big tech conferences anymore in Minnesota. I personally have been to ISTE myself 5 times in my previous district. We used to take teams of teachers, and that's how we built our tech integration across our building, is we slowly brought more and more people on board. And the more they learned, the more eager they got to learn more. So it was very exciting. So there's going to be at least 25 world-renowned speakers, at least 900 sessions to choose from. The sessions you don't get to, you get to see the recordings and have all the materials. So you will gain the expertise from 900 different sessions that you attend. You also would gain membership, so you become an ISTE member. So you not only have membership or access to all of these sessions, but you have access to all of the curriculum that they have to offer you and all of the extra professional development that you have to offer. Next slide. 5 reasons why we should attend ISTE. To discover what's next, right? We want to know what's coming in the world of technology and integrating technology to improve our instruction, therefore student learning. We want to influence learners well into the future. We have all of our students, right, who are going to go out and use way more technology than any of us use. And so we want to try to be a step ahead if we can. So that's part of it, influence our learners. When you're there, you get to touch, test, tinker. They have a thing called Playground where you just go in and you just play with all the newest technology tools you can find. So it's really a hands-on conference that's really, really exciting. They have students that present to you about what they've done. They have teachers, they have administrators, they have world leaders. So it's a really great way to collaborate and connect with people from around the country and around the world.
I mean, it's not just, thinking about it's like, oh, there's a bunch of new tools. It's not just new tools, it's about leveraging our existing tools more effectively by looking at some of the neighboring districts or looking at districts from across the country that are using those same tools, but maybe leveraging them more effectively than we are or differently than we are. So it's not just, new and pretty, it's also how do we use the stuff we do have just better.
Yeah, and you'll notice that a lot of the people we're bringing are our elementary teachers. And, when COVID hit, we just threw this technology out to all of our elementary schools and all of our elementary students, right? But we never actually had a really great training of how do you, as elementary teachers, integrate technology into the classroom wisely. And so this is now our chance to finally say, okay, now it's time to really train our elementary teachers and bring our secondary teachers on board as well and even do more. And so I'm really looking forward to the opportunity for all of them to collaborate and be able to work together on that. And then there's the cost, right? And so the conference registration, you can see all of the costs down there. Basically, it comes down to about $18.94 per person to go, and there's 11 of us going. And so Jason's budget and my budget, between the two of us and a little bit of help from the middle school, will help cover these, and we do have that money in our budget right now existing. So the next slide. Any questions? I think is my next slide, or maybe I didn't even get that one. Okay. Any questions?
Yep. Thanks for responding to my email earlier, Cindy. No, it's great.
I didn't get to it very fast.
Before I got in here, thank you. Yeah. I had asked about the cost, obviously, and want to make sure we're spending dollars in a responsible manner. One of my questions was, does it make sense to take just 2 or 3 people and then come home and have a big powwow and train the group rather than paying for everybody to be there? And I think it's worth you sharing your answer with the group to that question.
Yeah. And so I think it's really important for there to be a person in every building who has gone. So when they go back to that building, they're integrating what they've learned, and people come and walk past their classroom and go, oh, wow, what are you doing? Or you talk about it in the lounge about something new that you've learned, and it just feeds fire throughout your school when you're able to build that excitement. So we think it's just really super important for a person from every building to be able to do that along with us district leaders, excuse me. And so that when we do come together as a big tech team, we are this kind of a tech powerhouse now. We've all learned the same thing, and we all come back very excited to bring it all back together to the rest of the district. So we want at least one person from every building who can bring that back and bring that excitement and the training back. And then they'll work side by side with our tech integrationists so that they're not that, lone person on the stage like Natalie Geyer doesn't have to do it all herself. Now she's got all of these team members that she's built around her to be able to do that. So I do think this year it is important to bring that larger team. Thanks for your question. Yeah, yeah.
And I second that. I mean, to your point, Mark, I think that's kind of what we're trying to do. I know it's more people than what you asked, but the reason for that is we want to leverage those individuals. We want them to be able to be the leaders and the instructional leaders in their building when it comes to technology. That's why they're on this tech team, and we want them to spread that. Like Cindy was saying, I don't think this is something that this is like an annual thing. I think this is kind of a special thing that we're doing in this unique circumstance. There has been things, other districts have talked about trying to bring something back to Minnesota, so we don't have to have this big travel. Our tech leaders have talked about that a little bit. But we're right on the same page as you. Like, we're trying to be fiscally responsible in a time that we're not, overflowing with cash. So we definitely want to be, thinking about that, and that's what we want to do, is bring those folks back and have them train others.
My question is, what's our action plan? And it's been my experience that when you attend conferences and you learn all this awesome information, you come back and you don't revisit it or make an action plan to apply it for months, 6 months, a year later, and then all of that information then goes to waste. So I would really love to see how you guys are planning to bring everybody together, and then, one person applying it to a school where people would look at it passing by versus actually being able to inform them and have some sort of action plan to make sure you're sharing the knowledge.
Yeah,
I think
that's a great point, really great point. Want to address that or me?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
all right. So next year, they'll still be having weekly professional development, weekly professional learning communities, or team time, they're calling it, at the elementary schools. And so during those PLC times, that's when these leaders of technology can push into PLCs and say, all right, now we're going to learn what we've learned here. And so there will be a schedule put together of each month. There'll be a tech integration or a new tech learning tool that teachers are going to be looking at on a monthly basis. And then we'll also be offering some after-school sessions for teachers to be able to sign up and come and learn additional things that maybe we didn't have time to do during a tech team. So we'll really build that technology access next year through special scheduling. Yep.
And just in addition to that, what we've done so far with that tech committee is we've had 3 questions: what's going well, what's not going well, what can we start doing, or what do we need to stop doing in order to make sure that you're successful. So what I'd like to do is align those things, right? So take that feedback that we received from the teachers, which was really good feedback. Some of it, we had a pretty good idea what they might tell us, right? Like, we had a hint, but some of it was like, oh man, I didn't know that was an issue. So it's kind of aligning those two things, if that makes sense, right? So we learned some really great new things, but how does that align to the problems that they said they had, And then doing it in the way Cindy described.
Some of what we will bring back will align completely with integrating our new curriculum, and it'll be resources that we'll be able to use, or techniques that we'll be able to use that'll help teachers more smoothly integrate what they're trying to do with literacy as well.
If you see the people that are going to the event, it's not just like our integrationists, right? Natalie Geyer is awesome. Robin Zwak is awesome. They're like fantastic integrationists. We also have our instructional coaches. That's very important. That's key, right? Because we want to bridge instruction with technology. It's instructional technology. That's the purpose of what we're doing. That's the purpose of what we're trying to support as our department, is trying to improve the experience for our students, for our teachers. So having those people, that's why I think it's absolutely key. Those are the instructional leaders, our coaches in our buildings.
I have a question about hardware versus software. Are most of the techniques that you're expecting to learn more about software-based and compatible with the systems that we already have? Or do you think there's a lot of new hardware that's out there? Or do you not know?
I mean, I can't state for sure, but I imagine that it's going to be both, right? There's going to be a lot of new things that, require some different hardware. But I would imagine the vast, there's probably a lot more that's software, so software that relates to those various hardwares. I know that sounds like a non-answer, but I think it's going to be a little bit of both, to be quite honest. And I expect to see, what I'm really excited to see is, honestly, is what we're using here, how do we use that better? So I'm excited
Do you know
for
if
that as
there's a
well.
lot of open source stuff that would be at no cost to the district? Or are we looking at more software costs, hardware costs down the road kind of thing?
There's, and there always is at those conferences a little bit of both, but there's a lot of vendors there that are looking for, ways to make money. So a lot of the things are going to have a cost associated with it for sure.
But the focus of the whole conference is really about learning. It's about how to use the tools, like Jason said, that we currently have to do the best job we can with students. And a lot of the things, we're only using about this much of what we know how to use. And I think once teachers really see the way they can leverage what we have right now, it'll be amazing. So it's really about how to learn how to teach with technology. It's really not about going there to purchase new technology.
And, there's a lot of it's transfer too, right? So basically every district's going to have a learning management system. Ours is Schoology, a little bit Seesaw at the early levels, right? But let's say they learn something in Canvas or Google Classroom, probably 99% chance that they can apply that to our existing learning management system. So there's going to be opportunities for that too. Not to say there's not going to be new stuff. There's definitely going to be new stuff. But there's going to be some opportunities for us to just transfer that knowledge to our existing systems.
I'd just like to make two connections for the board. I think it's important, just to pause a little bit and remember back to the literature, knowing that our administration is ahead of what might come up with the legislation, because that's really 18 months of planning. And it feels really good to be on the front end of planning things rather than reacting. And I remember having extensive conversations with the board members who were here during the pandemic. And I believe with technology pieces, if we would have been even more prepared, because when we did our one-to-one device adoption, the superintendent at the time brought a team about the same size that you're talking about to Chicago to learn from schools that were using technology at a higher level, not just replacement, but trying to get them to be tools that were embedded with instruction. But that was the last time that our district had that systematic approach. And I wish we would have kept going at the rate that your school district that you talked about, that you were previously a part of, valued, so that we could have been more prepared. And I think that's what education is about, is staying ahead of the curve, being proactive. And there really is a big piece that feels good when I hear you talk about getting a team there to put together an action plan, which we already, are in the start of creating together this year. That's why the new teams have been created this year. It's not like we're just going there as a conference and hope we get one thing to come back out of. This is part of a systematic plan to make our district better, which ultimately you make your teachers better, and it's going to make our students be able to go further. And so it really is all about, I think it's about administrators staying ahead of the curve, and it's also about being systematic in our approach. And we did not sustain that after 15 years. I was one of those team members that went 15 years ago, and then we never had a district level support since then. And then that leaves silos for our building principals to keep working extra hard to make sure that things are going at the rate that society's going at, and hopefully even a little bit faster.
Do we understand then that this has been asked before and turned down?
No.
Oh.
It just hasn't been, I suppose, a district priority to continue to embed things together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jason, have you been to this conference before?
Yeah, I've been in this conference about, I think it was 5-6 years ago when I was in San Antonio. Yeah, it was a really great conference. I still have those connections. Some of the tech directors that I work with in Pennsylvania, ironically in Pennsylvania, but in addition to some folks both in Oklahoma City, and then in Texas as well. And it's nice to, the people around here is who I interact with the most. But, especially online school, we stole, not necessarily Monticello when I say we, but me, stole a bunch of information from Pennsylvania. I mean, they were competing Borrowed, yeah. They were competing with, you know, some really powerhouse online schools and losing enrollment like crazy. So I copy off their paper anytime I can. They have some really great ideas, and they've experienced it before we did a little bit, so.
I just have a couple more things then real quick. Is it possible that there's a level of surprise too, and I'm looking back here in the corner, that Nicole or Liz would be surprised when they're asked to lead a bunch of these weekly sessions now to help integrate the things we learn in Pennsylvania? Are they used to doing that right now, or is that new?
I feel like any member of that team will step up as part of their responsibility. Jason has kind of set forth that they would be willing to share what they learn, whether it's in their tech meetings or at a conference.
Okay, I just want to make sure we don't have another hurdle in front of us to say, oh, hang on, I didn't sign up for this, it's more work than I
Yeah, that was one of the stipulations when we met as this group, to say, all right, are we going to do this or not? Here's one of the deliverables that you have, is you will come back to your building and you will be one of the leaders who will help with this. So yeah, they know that that's part of their responsibility next year.
Excellent. And I just want to piggyback on what Jamie said too. I mean, having been to a number of conferences and see people go to conferences, I joke with people in the accounting world that when they come back and we don't utilize, I saw 6 months is how long the video segments are available. We're moving that from education to entertainment on the profit and loss from now on, because you go there and you get all this entertainment, you come home, you don't do anything with it. So we will encourage you to do a lot with it when you get back. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess that would be my only statement, is it'd be interesting to see, you know, if it is approved, these people coming back and presenting to the board, showing us what they learned, benefits, and then future goals on there as well.
Is there any more discussion? Well, this is an action item, and so we have a request for the ISTE conference travel request for 11 individuals to travel to Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in June for the ISTE conference. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion.
I'm sorry, can I just make one more comment?
Yes.
I do believe when this, that they contractually have professional development dollars worked into their contract. So a majority of this cost is coming from their professional dollars that is being, they have specifically assigned to the teachers have. So it's not like we're taking these dollars from a general fund. These are specific contractual dollars they have in their contract. So just so that there's an understanding.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. I think Cindy did talk about that at the end, but maybe it wasn't super clear, so it's always good to restate that.
Along those lines, even when we approved his national conference, it was his second national conference in 15 years when he can go every other year. So really, he alone has paid for this district, and if I would ask Matt Colwell, who has also been here quite a long time, he's been here 12 years and went twice. I've been here 18 years and went twice. And so we could be going every other year for $3,500, but we're mindful to doing it when we are trying to move our action. We're not just going for a trip. We're going because we are putting together an action plan to make sure that we are using the conference as a springboard to results. So.
Thank you, Mr.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Mark Branson to approve, and we have a second by Jeff Hegle. All those in favor of approving the travel request for ISTE, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. Congratulations. I want to just mention at this point, I think Mark Branson may have to take a step out to handle a personal situation. So if
I want to stay for the next item.
Okay. Moving on to innovation and leadership, we have another wonderful opportunity today to welcome a new member to the family at Monticello Public Schools, and in particular to our Eastview Education Center. And I'd like to turn this over to Mr. Olson to talk about our new principal for the Eastview Education Center. And welcome to the podium.
It's with great honor that I get to introduce Kristen Green, and I just want everyone to know here in Monticello and school board, you obviously are right in the midst of the whole process when we hire administration. But when you get hired here in Monticello, you have went through a process, and we have people in our surrounding areas that have asked the process that we've put together, and many are copying it because it is an extensive process. So it started with a 20 to 30 minute screening interview. When I happened to call Kristen, she was on a college visit with her daughter. So I'll just never forget that feeling that I could almost be part of that with her. And then after that, we had a double interview day where candidates came either to Eastview or to the district office and then swapped and had two separate interviews. At our interview, and we have several people in here that have been part of becoming a principal in Monticello, when they are with the district team in here, we also have parents and we have students. And so for this year, we had 2 students in kindergarten on our interview team. And my favorite part about being on this team is that we have a stage set up, and the candidates deliver a 3-minute welcome back speech so we can see how they would present to students. It's that first day interaction that awards them the second, the next step of the journey, which is another interview with the school board. And we had put together a school board team with additional district administrators. And through that process, then we are then ready to do a hire. And so Kristen Green shined throughout that process. I would say the candidacy pool was very, very hard. It was deep. We had 29 applicants. And so for her to be standing here today, it's a great honor for all of us, just as all of our administrators who've been hired in the last couple of years, because we put them through the ringer. So without further ado, let's let Kristen Green introduce herself. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Ziebarth, school board members, Superintendent Olson, Monticello staff, families, and community members. My name is Kristen Green, and pending final approval this evening, I am proud to introduce myself as the next principal of Eastview Education Center. It's an honor to be here tonight. This is the job I have been preparing myself for over 25 years. My 18 years in the classroom were spent as a kindergarten and first grade teacher. Then I spent the last 9 years in leadership roles as an instructional coach and most recently as a dean of students. My goal was to earn a principal position. And when this job was posted, a principal of a pre-K kindergarten building, I knew it was my time to step up. I am thrilled that the interview teams felt the same connection to me as I did each chance I had to engage in the interview process, which was rather rigorous, by the way. I look forward to joining the team at Eastview to ensure our youngest of learners and their families get off to a positive start to their educational journey here in Monticello. I'm excited to learn from, lead, partner, and work hard with our Eastview staff to continue the excellence that is already present at the EEC. I bring with me a strong work ethic, a passion for foundational skills in literacy and all content areas, a highly collaborative nature, and an absolute love of working with young learners, their families, and the staff who dedicate themselves to this critical age of development. I know I'm following a strong leader, and I'm grateful for Mr. Dockendorf's warm welcome and willingness to connect with me during these next weeks of transition. I am so ready, excited, and proud to have this amazing opportunity. Thank you for welcoming me this evening and for letting me be part of the Monticello community. It is an honor I do not take lightly. Thank you.
Wait just a moment. We have a little welcome for you.
Oh, thank you.
They're really testing my balance here.
Yes, to-
trip at the Pinewood staff meeting, so from the school board, and then of course you need a little magic wear. So,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yes.
we got to get rid of some of that
Get
green.
rid of
I
the
think.
green. All right, yeah. Thank you very much.
Ms. Green, we hope you'll join us here in the boardroom for meetings from time to time over the next year. We'd love to see you again. We also need some pictures, so if you would please come back.
Thank you, Ms. Coutelle.
We haven't had enough pictures tonight. If they go like this, I'll go up there. If they go, sit here. What? I'll probably see her again. He was saying, should I go up there? And I said, if they go like this, I go up there. If they don't, I sit here. Very simple. Well, we're moving down and getting close to the end of our agenda. We're going to talk about the 2023 board meeting dates, and we have Clay Swatsky, our communications director and board liaison, is going to go over that with us. This is an action item. Ms. Green doesn't have to have another action item. You already were approved by the board. Thank you.
Good evening. Just wanted to provide a quick update for you guys. We technically don't have, as the board knows, we establish our meeting dates as the first and third Monday of the month at the start of the year, and we don't necessarily need to take action on, excuse me, on these as we go through the year, but it's kind of been past practice in the district that when we get to the start of summer, we provide an update for the second half of the year, and we do have a couple changes based on no meeting dates, so just wanted to bring it forward to you guys, and as you said, Chair Ziebarth, that is an action item tonight. So I won't go through every date. Most of these are the regularly scheduled first and third Mondays. Just want to note a couple of changes. June 20th, we will be meeting that Tuesday because June 19th is a no meeting date. And the same thing applies in September. We'll be meeting September 11th because September 4th is a no meeting date. The one other change on here, December 4th, which is the first Monday, which is typically a 5 p.m. meeting, that will happen at 6 p.m. because that'll be the Truth and Taxation meeting, and those meetings cannot start before 6 p.m. So to accommodate that one will start at 6 p.m. Otherwise, as noted, all of the ones with a asterisk, those ones will be followed by a work session, again, as scheduled at our January meeting, and the rest of it follows that schedule that was set forth at the organizational meeting. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? Any further discussion for Clay? Okay, this is an action item. Do I have a motion to accept the June schedule through December 2023? Moved by Jeff Hegle.
Second.
Second by Casey Root. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, please say no. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
With one out of the room. And now we are down to the adjourning action. Does anyone have any further items for discussion? If so, please bring them. Otherwise, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Melissa Curtis to adjourn, seconded by Casey Ruth. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned. Boom.